everybody, we were just closing the door in the background. I'm JWMaher, and that's my wife, Fiorella Maher, and those are the Brookses, Abby Brooks and Aaron Brooks. And we're here at Why We Love Horror TV. How are you guys doing over there today?
I think we're doing pretty good.
We're good. We're inching towards the end of season 1 of Dexter Original Sin here.
Very close.
And a lot happened this episode, including something I've been waiting for a very long time.
But you didn't really get to really see what you wanted to see. I know what you wanted to see.
It's done. What's done is done. I just care.
We are talking about episode 9 of 10, Blood Drive.
Why don't you bring your sister to work?
Considering the family business?
Nah, that's a male Morgan thing.
We could always use more kick-ass women around here.
Why do you think the cartel has targeted children? They're evil animals. I couldn't agree more. Look, we found Nikki's jersey. Next, we're gonna find Nikki.
Every day we leave evidence of ourselves behind. Who we are, where we've been.
Dexter, Original Sin.
So that's it. Yeah, a lot of things are definitely moving very swiftly downhill now. Brian is actually a character on the show, other than just being like a Easter egg on the show. We'll just start with takeaways, I guess. My one big takeaway is this episode, somebody must have written the writers and said, can you make an episode that will make John have to pause the episode numerous times and walk away from the screen yelling fuck? Because I really can't stand when people draw blood from people, and that happens like 18 times in this episode. It's interesting. It was disturbing to me personally. I'm sure everybody else enjoyed it. Fiorella?
So my takeaway was that alone made this episode fantastic. Hearing my husband like literally pacing back and forth over the blood being drawn. I watched it separately, and when that scene came on, I just started bursting laughing. I will keep it as in my toolbox whenever I get upset with you. I'm just gonna have it playing in the background.
He did Captain Spencer dirty. Good, you guys. What did you take away from the episode?
I was okay with the blood drawing. But yeah, no, this episode I was kind of like, all right, finally, like some things are starting to happen. There's a lot that happens, like we said. Like just a lot of different storylines connecting and happening, and just kind of you can tell that the finale is near. So I liked that things were finally it's getting really good. Like I actually really like this episode a lot.
Yeah, I also did like this episode. I thought it was a very good episode. It's kind of been confirmed, I feel like, at this point, that this is also a Brian Moser origin story as well. I think season 2 he'll be in a lot more. But it was nice to see him as a real character. I agree. Not just like in the background in a hat at a scene, and it's like someone on Twitter found it or something like that. But this is like him talking and killing and doing all the things that he does. And yeah, Harry's interesting again, so that's cool. With like kind of half revealing information about who Brian is and all that, and while trying to keep Dexter safe, which I kind of have some weird thoughts about as well, just because of how Harry's just a strange mixed message father character. He really is. Like,
it kind of brings me to like the one main like divergence from what we knew. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. When they always told the story about Dexter's adoption, Brian was never even like a question that they weren't going to adopt them. It was like he saw too much. He's too fucked up. But in this episode, we actually get to see them giving it a shot with Brian.
Yeah.
And why he was not adopted. So,
but it makes sense, though, because this is the origin. So Dexter wouldn't know that. So when Dexter's...
Well, he's telling this story, though.
But there's also Harry's flashbacks. He's not telling Harry's flashbacks.
Oh, fair enough. All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Brian. Like, I really do. I think that we're going to find out more and more of how like bad we should actually feel for Brian, because I never felt bad for him in the original season of Dexter at all. There was not a reason really to. And here it's just like, I mean, like he gets kind of screwed over, and I kind of understand why he's mad.
I mean, let's not forget, he also tried to kill baby Deb. So, I mean...
I was going to say, there's two sides to it.
Yeah, so like, I feel bad, of course, like as a human for the child, but like I would have done the same thing. The second I see that this kid is so damaged beyond repair that he's trying to kill my infant daughter for crying, I will pray for you, thoughts and prayers, but you're out of my house and out of my life. Yeah.
And we realize there's like a long period of time between the time period of Original Sin and the first episode of Dexter when like the ice truck killer is like full fledged. So that means that Brian has to be killing for like the 10, 15 years in between. So
Yeah, he's really good by the time we get to season 1, so it makes sense.
I did. So I started rewatching original Dexter, and a quick little takeaway was the scene where they're painting the mom's nails.
Mm-hmm.
So when the ice truck killer left the hand in the ice truck for them to find, the nails are painted exactly the same way the mom's nails were. I don't know if you guys caught that, or I was very like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, it is very cool.
Yeah.
And there are a few other Easter eggs in this episode that we'll get to as they
I was gonna kick it over to you anyway because you got to see your favorite thing.
Yes.
You got to see Laura chopped up into a million pieces.
Yeah. I'm just glad we're moving on. Like, I just couldn't have that same conversation between Harry and Laura any longer. Yes, it was tragic. Yes, it was too bad. Looks like Dexter's about to stab me in the back for talking about his mother right now.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and I probably deserve it. But yeah, I mean, it was like almost more disturbing not to have any part of it and just see the aftermath of it and have her kind of look back at me and being like, you wanted this, Aaron.
It's not your fault.
And yeah, I'm just glad to be moving on from that. Not to be too heartless, but I do think Bobby is gone very soon. Like, and so I'm kind of hoping we're not having like these deathbed, like hand squeezing conversations too much longer, because I get it. It served its purpose. He was like, protect Dexter. Yeah, totally down
It
for
feels
that.
like he's recovering though. Like I get
That's
doesn't it?
like, yeah.
Unless Brian kills him.
No, yeah, that would be pretty solid if he
That
just
would make
walked
sense
in.
too.
But yeah, no, I think Bobby has gone one way or another, and you know, season 2 we'll get some Angel, because season 1 so far it's been like 3 lines from Angel. If I have a disappointment through 9 episodes, it would be Angel's lack of involvement in this show. He just like shows up once in a while. I'm like, oh, okay.
He had a whole episode where him and Dexter drank rum and talked about a loan shark.
I was expecting more of that in this than we've had. Yeah, but it's okay. And Tamara should show back up too, right? Besides just saying like, you'll be a badass, or we need more badass women.
I mean, it sounds like they're setting her up to be like a mentor. I mean, that seems like the obvious thing. Is she'll probably be back, and then she'll be kind of like a mentor for Deb.
I agree. And that was going to be one of my takeaways, like for sure. I love how we went from thinking she was going to be the bad guy to like, she is probably the only strong character mentor that like Deb could actually count on. So the fact that she obviously goes away at some point, and like that's going to be like the cloud over my head. Like, please don't take her away, like in a bad way. You know, I did like how she talked. She has a lot in common with her, how she talked about her being the sports, which then like tied back to the betting. So I was like, all right, you're not a degenerate. Like, this is something that you like doing.
I would say it's more along the lines of like, she was a basketball player, but she was short, so she quit. Whereas Deb's a volleyball player, and she's kind of, even though she still has the scholarship on the table, they're going to manufacture some reason for her to like divert and go into criminal justice, I imagine.
Well, I think it's going to be Tanya. I think it's her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's her. I agree with that.
Let's talk about Brian for a second, though.
Yes.
Deliberately playing bingo to basically get this old lady's confidence, the social worker who split up him and Dexter when they were children. And we know all the people that he's killing are related to basically his poor childhood. We find out. So what do you think about that bingo, that hot bingo?
I mean, I like that whole like storyline in this episode. Honestly, it was fun to see him interacting in that environment and then kind of seeing where it goes. I mean, even now it looks like he's very skilled with murder at this point. So again, like you were saying, it's definitely alluding to the fact that this has been going on for a while. And just kind of seeing that whole through line. I like that storyline a lot.
So with the social worker, that's 5 known victims then, right? The psychiatrist, 3 people, and her. And he cut her into pieces. So that's
he did her like his mother was done.
Yeah.
So he's like a theme killer at this point, which is kind of interesting.
What else haven't we talked about yet in this episode? Because a lot did happen.
I mean, we have the whole Captain Spencer of it all. First off, him like revealing his face to his son kind of confirms that he is going to kill his son, because why else would you do that? So that is, and like the whole motive behind it is interesting. He just hates his ex-wife.
Yeah, that's a lot of lengths to go just for that reason. Like,
But
I feel
he got something out of it, though. He got to kill some cartel members.
I guess so.
Yeah, but it ultimately is like to get back at his bitch of an ex-wife. Like,
Well, how dare you? And I am, a side note, I am so mad at myself because, as I said to John, I'm like, this is why I need to go back to notes. Last week, I had mentioned to him, I'm like, wow, I think this guy loves hating his ex-wife more than he loves his kid. Completely forgot about that and derailed myself and was like, it's just the cartel thing. But yeah, no, that was it was intense to like see it play out, like how this man is so motivated by the hate / love of his ex-wife, the jealousy of the new stepfather, that he's willing to kill his son.
He's really,
at least Harry's not that bad.
Even when like Dexter's talking to him, like it's sometimes some of his responses, you're like, wow, maybe he's like schizophrenic or something, because like he does not like nothing registers when Dexter's talking to him.
Yeah. And it all connects back to with Dexter having a problem with, kids, or people who have problem with kids, I should say.
Right.
Because
but why did he kill the first kid? So
I mean, it's just part of his plan. I mean, he committed to that.
So the long con is like getting back at his wife, so he had to sacrifice another kid.
I guess he wanted to sell the fact that it's the cartel doing it, I guess. But the one thing that they do kind of mention in a throwaway is he has an accomplice, because when Dexter leaves the note on his door, he says some kind of name like "God damn it, Victor," and then crumples the note up. And I have no idea who Victor is, unless Victor's the crackhead.
And that's who I thought it was.
Maybe,
but it probably is.
But he said the name,
yeah.
So I have no idea who he's talking about. So there is somebody else. So it might play into the theory. I think Aaron, you might have mentioned that there's maybe something above Spencer manipulating it, like it's maybe the cartel doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think there could be, and I don't. And at the end of the episode, when he was tied up in the arcade, I did think that was interesting. I wasn't exactly worried about him dying right there, because he's going to get killed in front of Harry, because it is still, they're slightly changing around how it happened, but it's still, this is good. It's going to break Harry. Like, is that him seeing like Captain Spencer killed in front of him, I think. So
Harry still doesn't believe Dexter at this point. Yeah, like
exactly. Dexter's going to do it, and Dexter's going to be forced to do it before he can prove it to his dad. And that's going to cause a big problem going into season 2. I think it happens next episode. I don't think we get Patrick Dempsey for season 2.
No, he's going to be the big kill.
He's already lost the finger, so
and it's probably going to be like end with like Harry like holding his chest, and then them going to season 2 that we have to wait for till whenever. I'd have to assume that I would assume that's what it is.
Yeah. Anything we left out for this episode, Fiorella?
Oh, I got one more thing. Super not important. When Deb, our favorite character to check in on, I did like the line from Dexter pointing out she's the most honest one, because when it's brought up that she broke up with Gio, which we'll see you, Gio. We'll see you soon, and we'll find out who you are.
Season 2.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we probably won't find out next episode, but we'll see you in season 2 when everybody's forgotten about Gio. Is that, Harry's like, no more older men. And she, instead of saying, of course not, she said, no promises. And then they might as well brought up a picture of Lundy, being like, what's up? I'll see you. See you in Dexter, because she's still going to be in an older men. Did you get that Easter egg? That's your unnecessary Easter egg.
And this is why I'm rewatching the show, because I love the memories that you guys all have. because I completely forgot about that until you said that. I assumed because the line was so like in our face, I was like, oh, maybe she dates someone that's older, but I did
She
not
dates someone
remember.
real.
I
Yeah,
know.
Lundy's-
Now it's all coming back with pictures and everything. But
Lundy had swag though. Let's be honest.
he
But
did.
yeah.
He was.
But yeah, that's like their unnecessary Easter egg. Last week we had Miguel Prado having sex with LaGuerta.
Yes.
This week,
I caught that one.
yeah. This week we've got older man, never again. Wink.
Yeah.
Monday. So yeah, there you go.
Going off of that, I do like that this episode seemed, even though she was not in it very much, it seemed a lot kinder to Deb.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I was also like into that she's not always being shit on. Like we get it. You know what I mean? So I did enjoy that.
We saw a lot of baby Deb and pillows over the face of baby Deb. But that happened. Abby, anything you got left?
No, I don't. I think we covered pretty much everything, honestly.
Well, let's talk about this show and our ratings then. I haven't even settled on a rating, to be honest with you, because I did like the episode, but it did make me sick physically. So I think I'll give it a 3.5 because it's good anyway.
Such a baby.
If they could have just like cut away every time they put a needle in somebody's vena cava, I'd have been appreciative and rated it way higher. Fiorella?
It only happened like twice.
Happened like 15 times.
Okay. I'm gonna say, listen, there's not much change on my end. I felt this episode was back to be more exciting, so that was good too. I stay at a 4.
All right, Abby.
Yeah, I agree. I liked the excitement. I liked things kind of progressing and moving on. And it is making me really excited for the finale next week. So I will give this a 4.
And Aaron.
Apparently, I like this the most. I've watched this episode twice. This is the first episode I've watched twice before recording, and I maybe enjoyed it more the second time, aside for a few points where I fell asleep. That wasn't because of the episode. That was because it is a comfortable day. But 4.5 tapes for me. I think this is one of the best episodes of the season, honestly, at least since early on. So, yeah, it's nearly a perfect episode for me. And I'll be interested to see if the finale does what a lot of Game of Thrones finales does, which is kind of downshift, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, like,
no,
kind of like, yeah, no. Or I hope it keeps the pace up and stays at this level or higher. I'd love to give a 5 by the end of the season.
I picked us in the order we ranked it. That was pretty good. We did not discuss that beforehand. I just, guys, if all writers and producers out there, don't do blood draw scenes. I want to like your stuff. It upsets me a lot.
Yeah.
That being said, if you made this far in the episode, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror. Hey, go on over to Letterboxd. Join the Letterboxd challenge for our movie challenge that goes throughout the year. We'd love to hear from you over there. The schedule's always the same. Sunday, you're watching this. You're probably watching the Super Bowl, and you're catching up with this later. We appreciate that. Why We Love Horror TV every Sunday. Monday versus Thursday, Why We Love Horror. We're covering a fun little movies, Heart Eyes this week. And Friday, more Why We Love Horror trivia. Maybe some special editions drop. Who knows? But until next time, this has been, I'm JWMaher. That's Fiorella. And those are the Brookses over there, Abby and Aaron. And this has been Why We Love Horror.